In the distant star kingdom of Aurelia Prime, humanity had spread across hundreds of systems. Towering orbital cities circled glittering planets, fleets of starships crossed the void like migrating birds, and ancient alien ecosystems thrived on distant worlds. Yet for all its technological wonders, Aurelia still believed strongly in rank and status. Nobles ruled planets, admirals commanded armadas, and apprentices were barely noticed. Kael Varyn was one of those apprentices. He worked in the lower decks of the Imperial bio-research vessel Solstice, a massive starship tasked with studying dangerous alien life forms discovered across the galaxy. Kael's duties were simple: clean containment chambers, monitor environmental sensors, and assist senior xenobiologists. Most of the crew barely remembered his name. "Apprentice," the scientists would say, not even looking at him. "Run the nutrient cycle diagnostics." Kael would nod quietly and obey. His uniform was plain gray, marking him as the lowest rank aboard the ship. While others debated groundbreaking theories about alien evolution, Kael scrubbed floors and calibrated temperature grids. But Kael didn't complain, because Kael wasn't really an apprentice, not in the way they believed. The Solstice had been sent to a remote system called Vortha IX, a world covered in crimson forests and misty mountains. Sensors had detected something remarkable there: creatures that sat at the absolute peak of the planetary food chain. The research teams called them apex predators. These creatures were enormous, towering four-legged beasts with sleek black scales, glowing amber eyes, and claws capable of slicing through steel. They moved with terrifying intelligence and hunted anything that entered their territory. Most importantly, they were almost impossible to capture. 3 research vessels had already failed, but the Imperial Academy believed the predators might hold the secret to revolutionary biotechnology, regeneration, adaptive armor, perhaps even immortality. That was why the princess herself had joined the expedition. Princess Lyra Aurelia, heir to the imperial throne, was not like most nobles. She was brilliant, ambitious, and fascinated with science. Instead of sitting in golden palaces, she insisted on traveling with exploration fleets. Still, she carried the unmistakable authority of royalty. Every crew member straightened when she entered a room. Everyone except Kael. Not out of disrespect, he simply kept working quietly, as if royalty didn't change his routine. Lyra noticed him during the second week aboard the ship. She stood in the observation lab, watching one of the captured predators pacing inside a reinforced containment field. The creature's massive form rippled with muscle as it circled like a storm waiting to strike. Nearby, Kael knelt beside a console, adjusting the field stabilizers. "Apprentice," Lyra said casually, "are the containment shields stable?" Kael glanced at the readings. "Yes, Your Highness." "Good," she said, returning her attention to the beast. She barely thought about him again. To her, he was just another apprentice. 3 days later, everything went wrong. The Solstice had landed near a dense forest where the predators hunted. Automated drones scanned the area while scientists prepared tranquilizers powerful enough to sedate creatures weighing several tons. But no one expected the predators to hunt them first. At dusk, the forest erupted with movement. Sensors screamed warnings. "Multiple life forms approaching," a technician shouted. The ground shook. From the crimson mist emerged 7 apex predators, their glowing eyes blazing like burning suns. They moved with coordinated precision, surrounding the research camp in seconds. Guards raised plasma rifles. "Hold positions," the captain ordered. The predators didn't attack immediately. Instead, they stared, studying, calculating. Princess Lyra stood on the observation platform above the camp, watching one of the captured predators pacing inside a reinforced containment field. The largest predator stepped forward, its massive head tilted slightly, as if examining every human present. Then its eyes stopped, locked on someone. Kael. He stood near the back of the camp beside a supply crate, holding a simple data pad. For a moment, the entire world seemed to pause. The predators growled softly. Then something impossible happened. The massive creatures stepped back, not in fear, in recognition. One by one, the predators lowered their heads. Even the largest beast took a slow step away from Kael, creating a clear, empty space around him. The soldiers froze. The scientists stared in disbelief. Princess Lyra narrowed her eyes. What just happened? No one had an answer. Kael sighed quietly. Well, he muttered, I was hoping to avoid this. He set down the datapad and stepped forward. The predators immediately backed away from him, further creating a wide circle around him. Lyra descended from the platform, astonishment replacing royal composure. Apprentice, explain. Kael rubbed the back of his neck awkwardly. It's complicated. The largest predator lowered its enormous head until its glowing eyes were level with Kael's. Then it made a sound. Not a roar, a recognition call. The ground trembled as the rest of the pack echoed the call. Lyra felt a chill run down her spine. They know you. Kael nodded slightly. Yes. The camp was silent. Finally, Lyra asked the obvious question. Who are you? Kael hesitated. Then he spoke. My name is Kael Varyn, former field operative of the Galactic Conservation Authority. The scientists exchanged confused looks. Lyra frowned. I've never heard of it. You weren't meant to, Kael replied calmly. The authority protects ecosystems that are too dangerous or too valuable for civilization to exploit. His gaze shifted to the predators. These creatures are one of them. Lyra slowly understood. So you joined this mission as an apprentice to watch us? Kael nodded. The Empire has a habit of turning living worlds into research labs. One of the predators growled softly. Lyra glanced at them, then back at Kael. You're worried we'll try to control them? Yes. Could we? Kael chuckled. Not even close. As if proving his point, the largest predator lifted its massive claws and effortlessly sliced through a reinforced cargo container nearby. The soldiers immediately lowered their weapons. Lyra exhaled slowly. Perhaps capturing them was a mistake. Kael nodded towards the containment ship. Release the one you captured. After a long moment of thought, Lyra gave the order. Open the containment field. The ship's shields dropped. The captured predator emerged cautiously, then sprinted towards the others. The pack greeted it with low, rumbling calls. For a moment, the creatures looked towards Kael. Then they turned and vanished into the crimson forest, silent, powerful, free. Night settled over the camp. Princess Lyra stood beside Kael, watching the distant forest. You fooled everyone, she said. Apprentice uniform helps. Lyra smiled faintly. You realize those predators gave you space out of respect. Kael shrugged. Respect is earned. Lyra studied him carefully. You could command armies with that kind of authority. Kael head shook his head. I prefer protecting things that can't speak for themselves. The wind carried distant echoes from the forest, predators calling to one another under alien stars. Lyra looked at Kael with new understanding. Perhaps, she said softly, the Empire could learn something from a simple apprentice. Kael smiled slightly. Because sometimes the most powerful person in the room wasn't the princess, or the soldiers, or even the apex predators. Sometimes it was the quiet apprentice everyone underestimated.